What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. New video. I've been asked on different occasions, just asked again recently, if I was ever scared when I was in prison. And my answer is always the same. There are two times in my life when I look back where I could say I had a little bit of fear. And that was my first time in juvenile hall. I was a 13-year-old kid. I knew that I was in a unit where everyone was my enemy. I didn't know when they opened my cell door what was going to happen. In my mind, I was going to get jumped. It was going to go down in a major way, and I wasn't going to win. And I remember when the cop was opening the cell doors. They do it by key. And he was going door by door, door by door. And they'll start on one end, go all the way around, and then come back. So as I'm hearing the cop open the cells, and dudes are walking down towards the day room, and I hear him getting closer and closer, right? And it's just going through my head. Damn, I'm about to get fucked up. And what the cops do is they go to your cell, they'll hit it with the key, the window. Hey, you want day room? And they got to my cell. And the cop hit the thing, bam, you want day room? And loud, I said, hell yeah, open my door up. And I went out there, and nothing happened. Dudes didn't want to talk to me, but they didn't do nothing. And I was like, what? Okay, I guess that's how it is. While I was a juvenile and I would go in and out of juvenile hall, went to placement, you always saw, like, when dudes would mess up in camp, in boys camp, and get sent back down to juvenile hall for 45 days, or they would, attempt to escape and get caught, which I don't know how you get caught for an attempted escape there, but they would come back down. One thing was always clear. They were on swole. They would feed you, like, you'd get doubles, sometimes even triples, right, on your tray. Like, you'd eat, boom, 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 and then they would call, whoever wants more, you'd get up, boom, you get some more, you'd get seconds, or sometimes, like I said, thirds. And these dudes were weightlifting all day, man, and so they were big. And I remember when I got sentenced to camp, in my generation, the dudes from my neighborhood, we always AWOL'd. We always escaped. So there was 6 of us in juvenile hall waiting to go to camp. But there were none of us from my neighborhood at camp. And of course, they came and told me, hey, you're going tomorrow. And I was like, all right, cool. In my head, I said, damn, man, these big motherfuckers, I'm in trouble. I got in the van. It was me and a white dude. We actually tried to escape from the van. I don't know if I ever told that story. Didn't pan out for us. But I remember pulling up to camp. Again, thinking, I'm going to get my ass whooped. These dudes are going to stomp me out. These dudes are huge, right? Nothing happened. After having some fear of getting into some stuff in juvenile hall, and then after having some fear of getting into some stuff in camp, I lost fear of jail. That first time I went to juvenile hall and nothing happened, I didn't ever give a damn about going to the halls. I was in the halls all the time. When I went to camp and nothing happened, I said to myself, if I do state time, meaning YA, if I do state time, what I got to trip on? I'm around all my enemies right here, and nothing's happening. So when I went to YA, I had no fear. Unfortunately, as brutal as YA was, I had fun. I fought a lot. I learned a lot. And it bred an arrogance into me that a lot of guys, if you were in YA in the 80s and the 90s, you know, you really believed in your mind, nobody could fuck with me. And you were going to set an example every chance you got because that's what you did in YA. And that's why they used to say about certain dudes in the joint, Vato has a YA attitude. Those guys that went to the joint with the YA attitude, if they were lucky, they got sent on a mission. If they weren't, they got blasted. But anyways, in the CDC, there were some nervous times though. Anyone who says they don't get nervous doing their first pegada on the joint, they're a liar. You don't know what the person you're about to move on has on him. That is what it is. But you don't know which one of these cops might shoot you with that Mini 14 rifle. So there's going to be nerves there, right? But I could say that, you know, I told the story. I think it was, the video was called something about when my own crew tried to turn on me. That was a hectic time. You don't know. Like, we were all cool until we weren't. And then it was out of the 5 on the mesa, 2 versus 2. The other one, he got pushed out. And out of the 2, me and the dude that I was cooler with, the other 2 were more focused on me. It was jealousy. I was the one that always had the dope. I was the one when they needed something done quick, didn't want to wait on a response. It went through me. And it was over a manufactured misunderstanding. I saw it from a mile away. I saw it coming. But these 2 dudes knew if they went and tried to do it, it would be all bad. And so what they tried to do is they try to utilize a 19-year-old. He's been on the channel. We've talked about it during the live. They were planting seeds in his head. And I'm literally watching. I'm paying attention. I got the dudes on you know, because we all have dudes that are going to be loyal to us individually on the yard. And they're listening to all the conversations. And I'm getting all the intel, what they're trying to do. Hey, they're getting at this dude. I'm watching everything as it's going. That was a nervous time. But in every one of those situations, what you do, you take a step towards it. Because when you take a step away from it, you lost. They see it and they know it. But when you take a step forward, they're like, damn, this might not work out. And it didn't. But those were, again, nervous times. So I tell this story because there are a lot of people that are facing a lot of things in their life that aren't as serious as that right there, where there could have been, I could have been killed. I could have killed someone. Someone else could have been killed. It could have turned ugly. People that have been around that type of stuff, power struggles like that in the joint, especially on the 180s and on the level 4s. When you're around a power struggle, you know how many people can wind up getting whacked and getting washed up. But even though your issues out here have you fearful of whatever it is you're fearful of, you're not going to face death. And that's why I always tell people I have a different gauge. A bad day in prison, you're dead, or you're facing a murder charge. If you're lucky, you got holes in you and you're going to survive, or you put holes in somebody and they're going to survive. But that's still a bad day in prison, right? Out here, I hear people stress, like really, really stress about debt. Listen, you owe the credit card company, they're just going to report it, right? And your credit score gets knocked down. You owe whoever you owe out here, you can work it out. It may take time. You owe some people in prison? Nah. So I'm telling this story because I want people to try to put things in perspective. Keep them in perspective. You still have a roof over your head. You still have your health. And even if your health is failing, you're still here. You can still fight. You still have loved ones. And if you don't have loved ones, you can still love yourself. It's all perspective. Everything isn't as bad as people want you to think it is. I tell people all the time, when you're in the middle of something, you think, fuck, man, this is terrible, this and that. And you kind of like get stuck in a rut right there, right? But if you look back on your life and you look back at rough times that you had, 9 times out of 10, you'll be able to realize it wasn't really that bad, man. I was kind of making it worse by what I was thinking. So hopefully this video gets to who it needs to get to, man. Nobody should be ashamed of having fear. It's what you do with fear that will bring pride or shame. That's my video for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, man. Everybody, please be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them, man. I'm out of here.